So joining me now is Army veteran and Democratic Senator from Illinois, Tammy Duckworth. Senator Duckworth, welcome back to Meet the Press.
It's good to be on. Thanks for having me.
It's great. Let me start with this issue of these military promotions and what Tuberville's been doing. You heard your colleague, Senator Sullivan, say, hey, look, it's a senator's prerogative. You've done it. A lot of people have done it. One could argue doing it having to do with if it's about Pentagon policy versus when it's not, I think is certainly fair game there. So let me ask this. What are you willing to have a vote? Tuberville wants a vote. Are you willing to put a vote on this on the floor? Is this the best way out of this?
We've given him many options for a vote, and he's turned them all down. Joni Ernst has a bill that goes even further than where Senator Tuberville is, and he declined that vote. And Republican leadership have offered him multiple off-ramps to this, and he's backed himself into a corner. I mean, you know, what he's saying is, well, Democrats need to pass a national codification of Roe v. Wade. We would love to do that. Obviously, that's not going to happen anytime soon with the Senate as closely split as it is. And so, you know, I'm going to just say what President Biden has said. It is bizarre for Senator Tuberville to say that he's not jeopardizing national security when he injects politics into the defense process. And frankly, this is not the time to do it, not when there is a war going on in Europe, not when American leadership is vital to the international global order. For him to really jeopardize our national security by injecting politics and preventing our military leaders from being able to take their positions and do their jobs is really, you know, it's beyond distressing. It is just that. It is a jeopardization to our national security. Is
there any other way around this? Or is this power of one senator hold something that it's one senator and there's just, this is the way the Senate works?
Well, in part, I mean, one of the ways we can do is we can vote on each individual nominee, but that would take well into next year. The process is very slow. What Senator Tuberville is doing is upsetting how we normally confirm candidates. We would take, you know, all 250 officers and say, okay, without, you know, with unanimous consent, let's go ahead and promote all of these officers. And generally, there's unanimous consent. And Senator Tuberville is the one who's saying, nope, I want this done one by one. Well, there's so many promotions that we're going to fall further and further behind, and we could never get any other business done. You know, Senator Sullivan is a good friend of mine. We've traveled together. We have shared many of the same concerns. And then he's right. This is something that is done often in the Senate, but not to the extent that Senator Tuberville is doing it. I only held for 14 days, and that was over Alexander Vindman being retaliated against by the Trump White House. And right now, Senator Tuberville is jeopardizing our nation's ability to lead the free world at a time when there's a war in Europe because he wants to inject politics into this.
I want to ask you the same question about NATO expansion that I asked Senator Sullivan. Do you think NATO expansion to Asia is inevitable over the next decade or so?
I think it is. I agree with my friend. And frankly, you know, it already has started to do that with our successful AUKUS agreement between the UK, Australia, and the United States. Our Asian allies, I will tell you, I travel extensively throughout the Indo-Pacific, and our Asian allies are looking very closely to what has happened with Ukraine and realize that there is a greater need to participate themselves in NATO as well as NATO allies coming back into the Indo-Pacific region. I think what Vladimir Putin has done is not only has he expanded NATO, he's actually strengthened the resolve of countries like Japan and Korea and Taiwan and other nations. I mean, even the ASEAN nations put out a statement of condemning Russia's actions in Ukraine. So he's, in fact, united the world in a way against what he's doing there.
Let me ask you, I know you're chair of the Environmental Justice Caucus. What I'm going to do later in the show, obviously we've had the hottest temperatures on Earth in the month of July so far. Among the proposals to deal with extreme heat is I was talking with the chief heat advisor of Phoenix, and he wants extremely hot days to be considered natural disasters and national emergencies and have FEMA funding kick in on that. It would mean a lot more money for FEMA if we could fund FEMA that way. Do you think that's something that's coming and that should be a role for FEMA?
You know, I don't think so. But I will tell you one of the things that we can do to cool the earth back down is to transition into greener energy alternatives. My home state of Illinois is a big energy state. We have more nuclear reactors than anyone else. We grew 100,000 new jobs in 10 years under wind. And of course, biofuels. And this is where we really need to turn and look at companies like United Airlines that is looking to go to be a leader in when it comes to sustainable aviation fuel. There's nothing better than good old American-grown corn and soybean to produce the biofuels that will lead us into a greener future.
And I want to ask about the Supreme Court. I know there's a lot of progressive Democrats that would like to see the president and other Democrats speak out about court expansion rather than maybe trying to work within the rules that exist. Where are you on this?
You know, I think I'm not opposed to court expansion, but I'm not certainly there where I would support it at this point in time. I think what we need to do is what we're continuing to do, and my senior senator from Illinois, Senator Durbin, is doing a great job of confirming justices to all of the various levels of federal benches so that we have folks in place who can be elevated to the Supreme Court who are not going to be the activist judges like Neil Gorsuch, who, by the way, did not tell the truth when he came up for his confirmation hearing. In fact, he told Senator Collins that he would not oppose or work to overturn Roe v. Wade, and that's exactly what he did. Similarly, justices like Amy Coney Barrett. And so we need to take a look at where we're going in terms of confirming judiciary appointments all across the country.
Senator Tammy Duckworth, Democrat from Illinois, appreciate you coming on and sharing your perspective with us. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.